Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is in theaters now, and everyone seems to love it. I got my thoughts on it. I'm gonna leave you a link to my thoughts in the description below. Go check that out. Today, guys, I want to do a quick ranking of all the Spider-Man films. We're talking about the John Watts trilogy, the Mark Webb films, of course, the Sam Raimi trilogy, 2 Spider-Verse films, and let's just throw in the 3 Sony spin-offs. You already know we're gonna have to start with those. Morbius is gonna take number 13 because Morbius is just not very good. You all know about it. Does not stick to landing at all. It misses. It's not very entertaining or funny. Not that great at all, so whatever. Coming in next, gotta go Venom Let There Be Carnage, despite the fact that Woody Harrelson does a pretty solid job in this sadistic villainous role. I just don't think that it's that great. It's good enough, right? I mean, Tom Hardy's really good as Venom. The action between them and stuff is good, but overall this film feels like it could have been better. It's just decent. Next up on my list, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. You know, we have some villains that just don't really do that good. Like, I don't really like the portrayals and the depictions there, and you already know about all that stuff. Like, come on, look at that Rhino. Our Gwen and Peter and stuff are great chemistry and great actors and stuff. It has good moments, but overall, you know, it's just not very great. Next up on my list, we're getting the original Venom. I do think Tom Hardy kills it in this role. He's fun. It's a funny movie, and it's got a lot of good action and entertainment. I love the clashing between Eddie Brock and the actual symbiote. It's fun. There's a lot of entertainment. It's overall kind of, you know, it's a decent movie. Not nearly as good as other Spider-Man movies. That's why it's where it is on my list, but hey, gotta put it there. I'm gonna go with Spider-Man 3. I do have high nostalgia for it. I kind of loved it as a kid, and there are still some highly redeemable moments in there. It's a fun movie for sure, but we saw the way those characters in there could have been done better before and after. This was not nearly as good as the first 2. You know, it doesn't complete the trilogy as well as it could have or should have. It's got some corny stuff in there. It's messy. It could have been a little bit better, but it does have so much to like about it. Spider-Man Far From Home is coming in at number 8, a film that has an awesome villain in Mysterio. I think he's really an interesting character, and I kind of love the direction they went with him. I think Gyllenhaal did such a great job in that role. A lot of fun stuff for this teenage Spider-Man and Peter Parker learning about being the hero and also trying to live his life. Obviously, Tom Holland does a great job in depicting that high school Peter Parker super well. The traveling stuff is kind of fun in there. Mysterio and him, and like the way Spider-Man got the glasses and gave it to him, this and that. The story is pretty cool. I actually really enjoy this film, but overall, it feels like it just doesn't do as much as the others, and it's a little more forgettable. It feels like very much in the middle, you know what I mean? The Amazing Spider-Man introduces a really great Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield in that role, and I kind of forgot how much I did enjoy this film. I think there was some great storytelling in there, and I think the Gwen and Peter dynamic, it was told really well, and the chemistry between them on screen just works so well. It is a really great Spider-Man story. Overall, it's like not as good as the first one for sure. Homecoming also I prefer as the first of the new series of Spider-Man, but The Amazing Spider-Man is pretty good, all things considered. Maybe it was just a little too soon when it came out in 2012 for a reboot to Spider-Man, but it's solid. Next up, I want to go with the original Spider-Man. This film is a very revolutionary comic book movie, of course, and it really does hold up pretty well, all things considered. I do love Tobey Maguire and his portrayal of this Spider-Man. I think it works really well. The plot is great. The Green Goblin and Spider-Man clashing is fantastic. Obviously, we got to see that resonate again as we saw No Way Home. Osborn is a fantastic villain. Willem Dafoe is a fantastic actor. This movie has a lot of really great moments in there. It is just very good. Coming up next, I'm gonna go with Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming was almost gonna be below the first one, but I think I really appreciate the proper high school teenage story that Tom Holland plays almost to perfection. Tom Holland does great in this role. I love all of the teenagers and their dynamic, him and Ned and their friendship. The rest of the cast and crew just do so well together. It is a fun story. It is a heartfelt story. We really get to see Peter struggle with becoming a superhero at a time in his life when he shouldn't be a hero because he's a teenager doing normal things that young kids do, but he's trying to take on the world, and he's got so much heart to him. There's some amazing amazing moments of him learning his way. The Iron Man stuff in there is great. Stark as a mentor and the lessons that Peter learns from him. I love it. It's a wonderful story, and Vulture is really a great villain. Interesting and layered, and I love Michael Keaton's performance, and I think that this is a guy I can really work with and get behind as a villain and why he's a villain. I really love the story and the twist and everything. I think it's just really good. Number 4 is going to be Spider-Man 2 here. This is just an amazing sequel. Looking back at it all these years later, I still think it just follows up on the first film so well. Like, if you think about what a sequel needs to do, it just does it. Doc Ock is an incredible villain. Alfred Molina just kills it in that role, and he's someone that you feel for and you feel afraid of as well. I love the action. There's some amazing emotional moments in there with Harry and Peter, and also Pete being a better Spider-Man than he was and learning about it. The action, the feeling, the emotion, everything is just a very well-made film and a very, very great sequel. So that's why it takes this place on my list. Onto our top 3, Spider-Man No Way Home. I think I might have had it as number 1 when it came out. I was just so high on adrenaline from being in the theater and everyone just going crazy when we saw Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come out of the portals. And this film is honestly so much fun to watch. The theatrical experience definitely brought it to like number 1, whereas now that it's been out for a little while, it fits well here on my list, I think. I love the second half of this film. The first half is pretty good. There's some good moments in there, but man, once those old villains start popping up and then we really get things going, we see the 3 Spider-Men together. Amazing chemistry between Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield cannot go without being unsaid. It is just awesome. It works really well. They're really funny and they feel like brothers. They feel like best friends. It's fun. There's so much joy that I got out of that, and awesome moments, excitement. The villains are all great because we get some of the best versions of villains we've already seen. Willem Dafoe still kills it. It just got everyone so excited, and I still absolutely love everything that happened in the second half, and it kind of ends leading us to feel like we're going to get a real new story of Tom Holland being a more established Spider-Man. So it's exciting to think about the future, but where it stands alone, it is a great film. And then we get to the animated films for number 2 and 1. Who's taking number 2? I'm going with 2018's Into the Spider-Verse, an amazing film that I think to this day still not a lot of people recognize. I mean, people who are into the movies and stuff know, but a lot of people I know that really enjoy Spider-Man and comic book movies don't know how good this is and what they're missing out on. Into the Spider-Verse introduced us to an incredible art direction, and it just looks amazing to watch. Miles Morales is a fascinating new character who gives a new dynamic and a new take on Spider-Man. We get a new culture, we get a new family dynamic, we get a new world that we get to step into, and then we expand into the Spider-Verse. So much fun. The characters are very memorable. So many great voice actors behind them. The music is awesome. Visuals are unbelievable. And the story is just so cool. The multiversal stuff is done extremely well, and it is just a very, very well-made film in general. And then to number 1, the sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, is just everything that Into the Spider-Verse was, but then even better. The soundtrack has even more memorable songs in there. The animation is leveled up to levels I never knew it could go to. Really fascinating visuals, and the storylines are great. We juggle a story about both Miles and Gwen, and it follows up on the first film so well because it does feel like a true sequel, but it also is just an amazing story about family and about finding yourself and being the best version of yourself, struggling with juggling life as a whole and being a kid and stuff, and also being a good person and finding your destiny type thing like that. It's just very, very good. It has amazing voice acting, amazing writing, hilarious, emotional, sad moments, funny moments, fun moments. I mean, I laughed a lot in this movie, and it's just entertaining from start to finish, and it tells a really cohesive story. I just am blown away by how good they made Across the Spider-Verse. So that's gonna be my ranking of all the Spider-Man films right now. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree and what your ranking would be.